Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Brilliantly Resilient Live. We are resilience rock stars, Mary Fran Bontempo and Kristen Smedley, and we have a resilient rock star in the house today in more ways than one. We had a very interesting getting online, and we are just all about resilience today. We have the super cool, super famous all over Twitter, the tweeting goddess, Samantha Kelly, or now that we're all BFFs, Sam Kelly. And we got together on Twitter, of all places. That's where we met. And I was watching all of Sam's stuff. We're going to dive into the things that she does to, we always talk about rise all boats with you. And let me tell you, Sam is like rising hundreds of thousands of people's boats. So it's all good. And we are so excited to dive in. Thanks so much for being here, Sam.
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's really funny. It's just technology is amazing, and you really just don't know who's watching you, do you? There's a perfect example of it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And I wanted you to say hello first so that then I could say, and she's from Ireland. We're officially across the world, people.
And we Americans have a thing about accents. We love other people's accents because ours are so like hard edged. So we're just going to sit here most of the time and listen to
Okay,
you.
That's fine. But you know what? Actually, I love the American accent. You see, you are exotic to us.
Oh my gosh.
I'm exotic to you guys, but you're exotic to us. So it works both ways. Trust me.
I don't think we've ever been called exotic before.
I was thinking the same thing. We've been called some things, but maybe not exotic.
Not exotic.
Maybe we're exotic-ish. We always have an ish on our stuff.
That ish.
Yeah, we're like smart-ish.
Yeah. We don't want to get called on anything, so we always add the ish to the end. So there's that wiggle room,
Good plan.
Okay, so let's dive in. We were talking about having to be resilient, and there's so many pieces of your journey and the work that you do now, and I was running them all through my mind to see where to start. But the one thing let's start with it's Women Inspire, right? Is the
Women's Inspire, yeah, Women's Inspire with an S, because I couldn't get the Women Inspire. So it's Women's Inspire Network. Yeah. I just started it because I've been running my business I'm in my box room in my little village in Ireland, and I have a global following, and my network is global. And that's what I wanted, to reach out to people all over the world. And I knew the only way to do that was online. And so I just said, I can't be the only woman building my empire from my box room or my kitchen table. And so I wanted to reach out to those women too. And I was right. There are lots of women just like me. And I felt very isolated. And sometimes I wanted to bounce an idea off someone, or sometimes, I might have to make a decision, and I just wanted to kind of find out what the best place to go to for a website was, or something like this, and I just said, or sometimes I had stupid questions. Well, I thought they were stupid questions, and I didn't want to look stupid asking them. So I wanted to create a network of people like me that we could help each other and share knowledge and tips and stuff. So yeah, it's really good. And I had like a big, huge Facebook group. We started as a Twitter chat, Women's Inspire Twitter chat, because there was no Twitter chat for women. I just noticed, and I said, where's the voices? Where can we be represented on Twitter? And because I have such a big following, I was able to create the community through Twitter. And then we moved it to Facebook, and I had a huge Facebook group, and it was really busy, and I was exhausted. And I said, right, we have to think about this. I was like, hang on a second. I said, I'm a businesswoman. I need to start. So now I charge 20 a month. If they want to be a member, they can become a member. We have a private Facebook group, and we have weekly webinars. And it's not about me at all, actually. It's about my members and giving them the spotlight. Because sometimes I'm sure all of us know someone who really should be on a stage, really should be global, and yet they just don't get that opportunity or that chance. And I wouldn't be where I am unless I was given a chance. So I just think it's important. So that's what it's all about, really.
Kristen and I were talking before we got on the air here, and one of the things that we find is so common in all of the amazing people that we talk to, who we consider to be brilliantly resilient, is that so many of them start from a place of where their value system is. And I was looking at your website, and Krista was talking about the one tweet, which we'll get into in a little bit, that you put out at the beginning of this whole pandemic thing. And I said to her, but it's so a part of who you are, even as a business person. It's who you are. And you say on your website, here's the goal: assist others, be kind, reach out, and help another entrepreneur who might be struggling. So your work starts from your value system, correct?
It does. And you know what? Live streaming, I have to mute myself and tell the courier to just.
We'll be right back. This is what happens when you're streaming with somebody in Ireland. But the point is that Samantha does work with her value system. Okay, there she is. She's back. She's back.
I'm so sorry. The dog started barking. And the postman was at the postwoman was at the door. She's really cool. So I just said, I'm on a call. So sorry about that. I mean, that's what happens. It's reality. Sorry.
You know what? And that's the beauty of it. Kristen and I talk all the time about our goof ups and our screw ups. And in fact, on one of our episodes, we were talking with a guest about it. And we were like, we love a good screw up. It's the best place to start.
It's when our highlights reel.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all crazy stuff.
This would probably be the highlight of the whole episode now, the fact that the doorbell rang.
I doubt that. I'm sure you have plenty more to tell us.
So apologies.
The value system and how that's where you kind of, I guess, started. That's your core place.
Yeah, because also I'm 12 years sober, so I'm on a program.
Oh
I'm really lucky that I wasn't always like this. I was very selfish. I was very me, and I wanted the spotlight, but I still want the spotlight as well. But I was very me, and only for I put down. I loved alcohol, and I found it was starting to affect others around me and myself mostly. And when I stopped that, and I got rid of the one thing that was holding me back, I just went, shoo, you know. And this is something I always say as well. You know, if something's holding you back, whether it's a person, a family member, sugar, cigarettes, whatever it is, when you get rid of that one thing that's holding you back, it could be a man, it could be a woman, you will be free, you know, and you can do whatever you want. If you can dream it, you can do it. And I think from being on a program, from learning how to live and do acts of kindness, and it keeps my head right, but also it's helping someone else. So I always kind of was kind, and I was nice and all, but now I stop and I think, okay, how is this going to affect someone if I say this? Or I always think about the other person and how it makes them feel. And that's really where all that came from. You know, be kind and stuff. Yeah.
My son is 8+ years sober.
Ah!
His issue was alcohol, but heroin. So he really walked on the wild side.
Wow.
So I can appreciate that space that you were in from his perspective. And what you say is true, because he is now a married father of 3, great successful career in the recovery field, because that was an intrinsic part of who he was, wanting to help people. And once he got that stuff out of the way, as you said, but you have to be, I think the key about stuff like that is it provides you some level of comfort. So you really have to be brave to make that decision to go, I'm not doing that anymore.
Oh yeah, look, it takes tremendous courage, and well done to your son, because especially like cross addiction, I mean, it's I don't know how people actually do that. It's like the miracles. I've seen miracles, and I'm not religious. I don't go to church or anything, but I am very spiritual, and I really do believe that there is a higher power that's helping us. And my father passed away while I was only in early sobriety, and it was just amazing, from going from the black sheep of the family and the drama queen. I was a big drama queen.
Oh, sign me up.
So going from the drama queen to actually the steady person who was able to help my family get through it was a miracle.
Wow, you're right. It is a miracle.
Yeah.
My blog is actually called EYE Believe in Miracles, because there's just no other explanation for the stuff that happens. And I think that for people that say they don't have miracles in their life, I always say you're just not looking with the right eyes.
Yes. Yes, and I know that a robin comes into my garden, a little robin, and I always feel that that's my dad saying, and it's always when I'm anxious about something or I'm, I mean, I had before, I'm going to be honest, before we came on this call, I have a teenager, she's just gone out, but like, I mean, we're dealing with stuff all the time. Teenager's gone out, and I'm like, will she get to the shop okay? Like, or will someone attack her or kidnap her? And then I'm like, and then I'm dealing with the fact that someone delivered me flour, or got flour delivery that I wasn't expecting from a client who, and I just started crying because it's like acts of kindness are so important. And I'm always talking about this. So like when you mentioned the tweet that I put out, I mean, that's stuff I do all the time. Anyway, it was just the right person saw it at the right time. That's all it was.
Let's dive into that for a sec and talk about that. Tell our viewers and our listeners what that was.
I just put a tweet up saying, I had been having a chat with one of my colleagues in Irish Tech News, Ronan, and he has an underlying illness. And I said, how are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm self-isolating. And I was like, oh my God, that must be so lonely. And he said, yeah, it's a bit lonely. And then we were talking, I went, how can I help Ronan? And I was like, how can I help him? I said, I know, I'll do a tweet and I'll connect him with all the other people who are self-isolating. So I just did a little tweet. If anyone needs anything, please let me know and I will connect you with other people who are self-isolating. So I used the hashtag self-isolation, and then a BBC journalist, Helen, she said, oh, what about maybe we can help the people who are self-isolating. So then we created self-isolation help. So if anyone wanted to help someone do their shopping, walk the dogs, anyone that couldn't get out physically, that we could help them. So it just became a whole movement then. And there's a map of Ireland with all these people all over Ireland who actually are in your local area that will actually get your shopping or whatever and help you. So it's lovely. It's
Isn't
very
that
positive.
fantastic? It's just so
Amazing.
brilliant. And I got to tell you, I saw that. So Ireland was ahead of us in the US in terms
Yeah.
of doing self
Lockdown. Yeah.
lockdown.
Yeah.
So I will tell you this, I have issues with the whole things being out of my control, and then when everything happened here, I'm now famous for being in Costco's parking lot sobbing, trying to figure out, like, do I go in? And then the kids need to eat and all that. But I saw that before we went into all of the lockdown, and it just gave me this whole different mindset about being helpful as opposed to being stuck in victim mode. Because when I
Yes.
watched, and I would sit there, they're not my neighbors. They're not even on this side of the water for me. And I'm watching all the tweets and everybody helping each other. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was really nice, and it gave people hope. And when you give people hope, that's a huge thing. And I know this from my experience of being in the fellowship as well. I remember going into my first meeting and feeling hope for the first time, and feeling like they weren't judging me, and it didn't matter what I'd done in my past. And we've all made mistakes, every single one of us. I challenge anyone to say they haven't made a mistake in some shape or form and regretted it. And I just wanted to show, look, I'm not perfect. I even on my Twitter, I show me with no makeup out for a walk, because that's the reality. I don't always look like my gorgeous profile picture which John Murray took. I don't always look like that. And I just wanted to kind of be real, and I think that's what's helped me to get to where I am today. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to climb over people to succeed. You don't have to put other people down. You don't have to be a bitch to be strong businesswoman. You can actually be the opposite, compassionate. And I'd rather create new leaders than, do you know what I mean? Good leaders create new leaders. So really that's what I'm all about.
We
Yeah.
just had on, we just did an encore episode of Tiffany O'Donnell, right? That we have like too many Tiffany's on our list. Her thing was about empathy is the wingman for resilience. And I can hear and see empathy in all of your business, and it must be one of your values or something that is in your DNA, because it also, I mean, it's the wingman for resilience, but it's also a key ingredient in success with building a network like you have.
Yes, but like it was shown to me, a guy called Bill Yao. I remember going to meet him for breakfast, and it was a big posh golf club, and the sole of my shoe was coming off, and I was so embarrassed. Like, he didn't treat me any different. He chatted to me like I was a person, like I was a human, and and that really stuck with me. I'd never come across that before, and so there are people out there, good men and women, good people out there. But all you hear about Twitter is the negative stuff. All you're going to hear about is a certain president and what he tweets. And, you know, you're not going, I don't even follow him. You know, it's like, you know, the good stories aren't going to make the media, you know, but that one did, that tweet did. I ended up on Euro News, on BBC. Oh my God, it was mad. I got no work done that week. It was just like, but that's great. It's lots of attention and stuff. It's lovely. But, you know, at the same time, it was spreading an important message. So the journalists wanted something nice instead of the negative stuff. So, you know,
Thank
just to be
goodness.
aware, hope is a big emotion that people, if you can bring hope to people, it's amazing. Yeah, it's really powerful.
And you've done that. I mean, you've certainly done that through the organization that you've created. I mean, both Kristen and I have done. Well, okay, I'm going to say this, Kristen, but I don't want you to get a swelled head. We're very lucky that we have each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aw,
because
it's a
as
Hallmark
you said,
episode.
it is that this is going to be our little clip for the week. But you're right on when you talk about that sense of isolation that you have when you're trying to build something. And, you know, as women, we have these obligations. We have our family obligations, which always come first.
Yep.
Putting that out there, always come first, the family obligations. Consequently, you know, when we do try to do these things, it's often at a weird time of day, or it's, you know, you're doing something at midnight when everybody else is sleeping. But when you have what you've built for people and that awareness that there are a lot of other people in the same boat, and to create that opportunity for people to just touch base, and as Kristen and I always say, build that tribe. I mean, what a beautiful gift you've given people.
Well, thank you. Don't make me cry now. No, I just like, jeez, I've done enough crying today. No, it really is. See, another thing is there are look, we all have someone that copies our ideas and wants to, you know, be us, and once they see something, they copy you and stuff like that. And I always say, you know, don't worry about people who copy your ideas. Just keep being the best at what you do. But it can still get to us, you know. And the good thing about my network is, because some people would say it's a little bit fluffy. Some serious business people would say it's a bit fluffy, but you know what? It works, I'll tell you, because every single person in that network shares each other's posts. They help each other. If someone's stuck with a MailChimp issue or something, someone will jump on a call and say, look, this is what you do. You click this and this, and then it's fixed. And things like that. But if anyone has a book launch or something coming up, we share it out. We help. It's just lovely. But you see, the reason I've got that community is because the bitches don't like me, so they won't join. So it's great, you know.
Good,
So
right?
Here's the clip.
Bye-bye,
There's the clip of the
bitches.
week. The bitches don't like me, so they're not
The
joining.
bitches don't like you, so the good people join.
So great.
Yes.
Exactly.
I
And even
love
on
it.
my Twitter bio, I have nice people collector. So I'm only going to attract nice people. The trolls aren't going to follow. Well, they do follow me, but like, you know, trolls are not necessarily going to say, oh, I want to follow her because it says nice people collector. You know, nice people are going to follow me because they want to be part of that community. So that's really it. I mean, I know we do have one conference every year, just one big one. And someone said to me, oh my God, Samantha, if you could bottle what's in the room, you'd be a millionaire, you know? And I think it's the way I start the conference, though. I always say, okay, welcome everybody. And then I say, leave your egos at the door, right? Let's all just have a great, and I think when you set the tone for the day, it kind of goes that way then. So it's not all me, it's the members. It's the members that's really, you know, I watch acts of kindness happening all the time. There's actually, while we were doing this, a comment came in a live video I did just there. You know, it's like, if you don't keep them engaged and keep showing up as well, though, the community won't work, you know?
Yeah, they got to see you and participate. Let me back up for a second, though. How did you get into all of this? Is this what you had always planned, to be like the social media guru and all of this? Where did you start?
No, I started, I always worked in customer service and sales. And then my daughter got her first period and I felt sorry for her. So I went to the supermarket to buy some kind of gift box to give her and say, you know, welcome to womanhood. Good luck with it.
Yeah.
No, but no, no, it was actually just
I
welcome to
bet you that
womanhood.
had to be some gift box to make that,
Exactly. So I wanted to kind of put little nice things in it to make her feel special. And there was nothing, no beginner sets in the supermarket. There was nothing. Then I went to the pharmacist and I said, have you no starter sets? And they were like, no, don't do that. I was like, hmm. So my dad had just passed away. My daughter, who's deaf, Abby, she was about to start. She's got hearing aids. She has a little bit of hearing, but she was about to start mainstream school. I was 40, so everything was kind of lined up in a row for me to do something. And
Mm.
I went, I know, I'll start a business with no money and I'll just start. So I said it to my sister, who's a web designer, and I said, I just have this really good idea for a business. And she was like, what would you call it? And I went, I don't know, something funky, like Funky Goddess. And that's where the goddess came in. So I called it Funky Goddess. Went on a show here in Ireland, which is like Shark Tank. It's called Dragon's Den. It's on YouTube. I went on that and went up for investment and stuff. Didn't get it, but on the TV show I got it. So everyone thought I was rich and I wasn't, but I said nothing, kept going. And eventually I sold it to a customer because I had loads of sales. I was on every show because it was such a taboo. It's still a taboo, periods. And it's such a taboo. I realized the power of storytelling. So I realized the power of Twitter in particular, because my sister put me on Twitter and she went, right there, that market your business. And I was like, what do I say? Like, where do I start? And she said, well, just start talking about, the business. So what I did was I had a friend whose wife had passed away and he had 3 young daughters when she passed away. And they were all kind of 7, 8, 9, that age. And so I asked him to write about his experience from a father's perspective of what it was like as a lone father. And so when I printed it and I shared it out on Twitter, it went berserk and people were like, oh my God, this story is amazing. And then the national radio station contacted me and wanted to talk to him and interview him. So they interviewed him. And that's when I saw the power of Twitter. That's when I saw the power of having something interesting and new that people wanted to talk about. And it was just amazing. And it was great for him as well. So many people won. I won because I got my business on the show. He won because he was releasing a new book of poetry. The radio show won because they had great content. So I realized the power of Twitter that day. And that's where it started. And then when I sold the business, a local hotel came to me and said, you've got like 5,000 followers on Twitter. How did you do that? Would you help us with our Twitter? So I did. I helped them with their Twitter and their clicks to sale went up 15%. So then I had a business. I knew I could charge for it.
We talk about this all the time too, about the idea of when you don't have to know necessarily what your brilliance is right away. You don't need to know that. You don't need to know how you're going to execute whatever this is. You just have to keep your eyes open, take a step, and not be married to the outcome and just see where it lands. And then it's amazing. Then you're like, oh, all right, well, this worked, so I'll keep going in that direction, and it's a process.
Exactly. And you know what? If you had told me back then that I'd be in Forbes and that I'd be the owner of 2 businesses, speaking all over the world, like I would have said, you're mad. Like, what are you talking about? But like, but I put the work in though, and this is a really important point to make. It doesn't just, you don't just put out a tweet and then you get loads of sales. That doesn't happen. You need to build relationships. Go and find people who are like you. If you're a startup, go and find other startups. If you're in the accounting space, go and find other accountants so you can see what's happening, what's the latest news. Set up Google alerts, learn how to use it. If you want to raise your profile, like, come to me, I'll help you. This is what I do for a living. This is how I pay my bills. I coach people how to raise their profile. If you want, what you really want is when you get into business, that you become the go-to person for whatever that product or business is. And I remember people used to say to me on the street, oh, it's the period lady. And I was like, thanks, lovely. Yeah, the period lady, great. But then now if I go to an event, it's Tweeting Goddess. It's not even Sam, it's Tweeting Goddess.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's like, it's important to if you want to be the go-to person in whatever you talk about, like if we want to talk about resilience, now you're on my radar, so that if someone asks me, do you have a speaker on resilience? I can say, yes, I know someone, and that, that's what you want. You want to build relationships so that other people are tagging you.
What I want to point out to everybody, because I don't want it lost in all of that amazing stuff that you just said. You said, if you're an accountant, go talk to accountants. People think that they have to be the only one in the space and they don't talk to other people. It's like this competition. And Mary Fran and I are I think that's how we came together. We were both speakers, both authors. And then we said, how can we do something together, and how can I help you and you help me? And that's how this all came about. But I think instead of running in the opposite direction from everybody, you're exactly right. Go to the people that are in your space.
Yeah, absolutely, because they will know people, and even if they could be potential competitors even. Would you believe I have to, my daughter, remember I said my daughter went out, she's ringing, do you mind if I just take this call for a second? Just to tell her.
This is real life. This is what we do.
Life.
Take the call.
This is business. This is, she's running how many businesses and a mom and getting deliveries. It would be really cool if we would have been on earlier and the flowers would have come though while we were talking. Wouldn't that be great?
Sam is talking to her daughter right now because there's something going on with a teenager. And anyone who has ever raised a teenager knows what that's like.
I have a funny story to tell you as well about that. So thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened. It's just, remember I was saying she's deaf and she has hearing aids. So this is her first time to actually go to the shop on her own. And,
oh my gosh, and you're talking to us? I would be.
No, she didn't want me to bring her up, but she said to me there, she's like, hi. I'm like, I'm on a call at the moment. She goes, oh yeah, will you pick me up? I'm like, yeah, just stay where you are. I'll be there in a few minutes, and I'll ring you when I'm on my way. But I remember I was teaching a workshop once, and the same thing they kept ringing. My daughter's diabetic type 1, Leah, is the one that the daughter that gave me the idea. She's 21 this week.
Oh, wow.
But she kept ringing, and I went, oh, maybe I better answer. So I said, I'm really sorry, excuse me, like what I just did there. So when they keep ringing, I was like, there must be something wrong. They're getting killed or something.
Of course, so that's what you think.
You know what she said when I answered the phone? Where's the hairbrush?
My middle son would do that. He's like that. And same thing. I'm like dead in a ditch. He is dead in a ditch, and he leaned on the phone too many times because he's clearly dead on it. And then he'll go, where's my waffles? Like,
I know.
Oh, God.
Like, she's fine. She said, yeah, I'll just sit here and I'll just look at the boats.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to tell you, we can't keep you too long because we don't want to leave your
I'm so
your
sorry. It's just, this is so funny. But this is the challenge that we have as women though. And this is the reality. So we've actually shown a perfect example of the reality. It doesn't matter if you're running 2 businesses. It doesn't matter. When your family needs you, they want you now. Right. And, even my husband's the same. I'd say, don't come in. I'm doing a call.
And then
they'll come in.
Open the door and they peek around it and they're doing sign language at you. Like, you're supposed to know what that means.
And I'm like,
but it's brilliant. It's perfect because this is what's so perfect about it. Everybody thinks in order to do something, you have to be perfect and you can't make any mistakes and we are constantly resetting. I had to move to a different part of my house because the dogs, I'm like, why am I screaming at my dogs every single minute? Maybe I'm the one that moves. But this whole thing, it's just, you just do one step and work it out. And Mary Fran, oh my God, she's going to tattoo it on my head. Don't be married to the outcomes. Stop being so married to how it's going to end up perfect.
And enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. If you're not enjoying what you do, stop doing it. That's really a big thing I'll say as well. Yeah.
So I'm going to wind this up, not because I want to, but because somebody needs to be picked up, because you can only look at so many boats, So So please, 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 and we are definitely having you on again because this was just too much fun. But please tell everybody where they can find you, how they can get involved in the Women's Inspire Network. I want everybody to be able to reach out to our new friend across the pond.
Oh, thank you. And please do. We've lots of members from America and Canada and New Zealand. Anywhere I've spoken, I pick them up as I go, But no, it's really lovely. It's women'sinspirenetwork.com. So it's women's with an S. We have a Twitter chat on a Tuesday night, Irish time, which is London time, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Twitter, if you just want to have a look and see what it's like. We have an app as well. You want to download that. We do weekly webinars, and then tweetinggoddess.com is my other business, which is where I coach people one-to-one, and I actually teach them how to go online, which is, do you know what? The pandemic has been really good for me. I know it sounds terrible, but it's actually been the best thing to get businesses online at last,
Which is the way they should be moving in that direction. Thank you so much for joining us, Sam. Thank you.
Thank you for understanding my situation.
We get it. Trust me.
gotta stick
We
together.
totally get it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank
That's
you
what
for
makes you
understanding.
brilliantly resilient. And on that note, we are going to wrap this one up. Thanks to everybody for tuning in live, listening later on the podcast, watching on YouTube, all over the place where you're watching. We so appreciate it. And if you are stuck in that, you just cannot figure out how to reset, we have a free download for you at brilliantlyresilient.net/freebie. And it's 3 things that you can do right now today to start getting your mind reset to move out of broken and into brilliant. So until next time, thanks so much for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.